And now, we will be speaking to somebody first, who I'd like to introduce first, who is actually a personal icon of mine. She's also a global icon. She's changed the world, changed the lives of billions. She's an educator, a teacher, a designer, a mother, and frankly, I think that she's a superhero. So, you may have heard of something called Fashion Revolution. Anybody heard of that? Well, today, in this house, now, we have the founder and creative director of Fashion Revolution here with us to give us a few words. So please, it's my pleasure to introduce Orsola de Castro.
You know, that was I saying I'm not nervous in public speaking. You've killed that. I am. How do I live that? So I'm really sorry. I'm going to read. Normally I improvise, but again, 5 minutes. I better be succinct and say what I mean. So, okay, I've been walking this green space for a long time, longer than I can remember. I started as a designer in 1997, and then I founded the sustainable area at London Fashion Week with the British Fashion Council. It was Estetica, quite a mythical little space. And in 2013, as a result of the Rana Plaza disaster, Carrie Summers and I started Fashion Revolution. And in just over 5 years, we have grown to become the biggest fashion activism movement in the world, thanks to you, thanks to people supporting it and spreading our word. Just to give you a little idea of numbers, our reach, I can scream. Does it speak? Yeah. So our reach last April was 275 million people. Most importantly, 3,838 brands responded to our hashtag, Who Made My Clothes? And even more importantly, over 7,000 producers responded with their hashtag, I Made Your Clothes. So that's noise, that's visibility. This means to me that there is a very real appetite to talk about fashion and to identify with an industry that cares rather than exploit. And that we, as consumers, as activists, as people, are actively wanting change. The fashion industry affects 100% of the population, yes. No raging nudists in here, yep. And it encompasses so many other industries, all the way from agriculture to communication in its very complicated supply chain. So it does have the power to lead, and lead it must. When it comes to women, for instance, we know that 80% of garment workers are female. There's a famous quote going around in Instagram, I'm sure you've seen it, and it says, you can't empower a woman in one country only to exploit it in another. Fashion is female. If I can tell you a story about the Rana Plaza disaster, I'm sorry this is a little bit harrowing, but the truth is that it was 90% of the people that were killed were young women from the ages of 18 to 24, and the worst thing is that they knew that that factory was unsafe. They complained to their supervisors, they said, I want to go home. But they were locked in, they kept producing, and worse do I feel, those products left the factories, and 3 weeks later, we bought them. So how can we be so aware of pesticides in our food, of things that, if we ingest them, are bad for us? How do we not feel the same about those hands who make our clothes in fear? Sorry. Mostly sorry the technology here. Get back to my speech. Yeah. So I'm sorry if that was harrowing, but I do feel that we do need stories because we need to ensure that they won't happen again, not in our name. We have to strip the fashion industry naked and redress it with sound social values, environmental efficiency, and ensure that we are all rigorously wearing clothes that are made in dignity. And we also need to change the language of the fashion industry. We need to protect our workers and just change the storytelling. I mean, take the word aspirations, for instance. How often are you told that fashion should be aspirational? Well, actually, yes, fashion should be aspirational for all involved, citizens and supply chain workers alike, to aspire to a better life, a dignified job, a safe workplace, a living wage. What about quality? We can't just look for quality in the products we buy. We have to ensure that there is quality in the lives of the people that make them. But, you know, today I'm here and I was going to speak mostly about women, but I landed and there was fires and a great sky, and, you know, it really just made me think to expand this a little further. And to be honest, the question that I am asked the most often, and have been for the last 20, however many years, is sustainability a passing trend? To which I always reply, no, it's not. Actually, sustainability has been trending for billions of years. Or, guess what? We wouldn't be alive. We are hardwired to sustainability. It is excess that is the trend right now. And this is so visible. It's becoming so visible in our environment and in the people. And, you know, sustainability is definitely not a passing trend. Sustainability is what we need in order to survive. Mass consumption and accelerated growth is a trend. I hope reversible. When looking at planet Earth, though, this looks like a nanosecond wrong error of judgment, but it is our reality. But unless we shake this trend for planned obsolescence, poorly made products produced in their billions and designed for landfill rather than lifetime usage, the likelihood is that we don't have such a nice future to look forward to. It is simply unsustainable to go on like this. And yet, although sustainability feels like a buzzword right now, I beg of you to think of it more intimately, because it is essential for our survival and for our evolution. It speaks of balance, of shared power, and cohabitating ecosystems. It denies us nothing and provides us with everything. It doesn't unreasonably impose sacrifices, but begs us instead to understand compromises, to look at limitations, not as restrictions, but as ways to stimulate solutions. It's about gratefulness rather than greed, resourcefulness instead of exploitation. It rewards replication more than competition. Nature doesn't scale so brilliantly, but it replicates successfully. Above all, it asks us to consider our future, reminding us that all creatures should forever be equals, that it should be our collective quest to evolve into better people, looking at progress, not just for the benefit of the few, but for the empowerment of all. Sorry for the shameless pledge, but please look at the work that we do at Fashion Revolution. Everything that we do is open source. You can go on our website and download anything that might take your fancy, from our Fashion Transparency Index to our fanzines. I would really hope that you will look and sign our manifesto and stay involved, because change is only possible if we all hold hands and actually all do it together. This is not about one section of society, it's about what can we do. And please don't forget, I know it's scary, I know that it looks like we've inherited a massive problem, but it's not. It's the excitement of being a part of the solution. And one last thing, don't think of the fashion supply chain as some faraway la-la land that doesn't involve you. Your wardrobe is in the fashion supply chain, somewhere around 3/4 of the way from the cotton seed being sown and clothes being disposed of. So everything you do, every day, when you wake up, has meaning. Make it mean something. And really thank you